Exxon CEO Rex Tillerson, Trump's incoming Secretary of State, was grilled yesterday by Republican Florida Senator Marco Rubio, going off on Tillerson in a way that usually same party committee members don't go after nominees. Tillerson, of course, the longtime chief of ExxonMobil, big-time business dealings in Russia. Marco Rubio inquiring about Tillerson's view of Vladimir Putin. Let's take a look at the first clip here.
Let me ask you this question. Is Vladimir Putin a war criminal?
I would not use that term.
Well, let me describe the situation in Aleppo, and perhaps that will help you reach that conclusion.
So then Rubio goes off for about a minute or so, reading a long list of stuff that Putin has allegedly been involved in. And then he goes back to Tillerson again, and they have the following exchange.
In August of that year, it was at 78% in just 3 months. So based on all this information and what's publicly in the record about what's happened in the Russian military, you are still not prepared to say that Vladimir Putin and his military have violated the rules of war and have conducted war crimes in Aleppo.
Now, those are very, very serious charges to make, and I would want to have much more information before reaching a conclusion. I understand there is a body of record in the public domain. I'm sure there's a body of record in the classified domain. And I think in order to deal with a serious question like this,
Mr. Tillerson, that's happened in Aleppo is in the public domain. The videos and the pictures are there.
Fully informed before advising the president.
Well, I encourage you. There is so much information out there about what's happened in Aleppo, leaving the Chechen issue aside. What happened there is clearly documented as well. There's so much information out there.
So is there a simple answer to whether Vladimir Putin is or isn't a war criminal? I mean, in a literal sense, Putin is not a war criminal because he hasn't been designated one by any tribunal or been formally convicted of war crimes. This is like saying, is someone a murderer? Well, no, because they haven't been found guilty of murder, even though they might have actually murdered someone in the colloquial sense. Colloquially speaking, though, based on his actions, Putin is probably a war criminal. He was an agent of the secret police that did mass killings dating back to 1975 when Putin joined. When he came to power in 1999, he approved and maybe even orchestrated bombings of 2 apartment buildings in Moscow, which led to hundreds of innocent Russian deaths, and then used the bombings to start the Second Chechen War, which produced thousands of refugees. He was involved in the funding and aiding of Russian and pro-Russian terrorists in Ukraine, a war that has taken 10,000 lives. It's a very long list, but there's really no advantage, Pat, for Tillerson to say, yes, Vladimir Putin is a war criminal, no matter how close he is with Russia. And of course, that's what's underlying this, right? Our concerns about the closeness with Russia that Tillerson has. It's not really advantageous for him to say, yes, he's not Secretary of State. And you could make the case that this is Rubio grandstanding, to which I would say, is Rubio going to vote no? Because all of this nonsense doesn't really mean much unless Rubio says, based on his answers, I'm not voting to confirm him.
That's the thing, because the Senate Foreign Relations Committee has a makeup of, I guess, 21 people, 11 Republicans, and 10 Democrats. And if the Democrats all march in lockstep against this appointment, Rubio would be the deciding vote.
Hypothetically, that is indeed the case. And that's really what is going to matter to me. Now, there's also way more that was disturbing from this hearing, including Tillerson said, as I mentioned in our interview earlier, he doesn't view climate change as an imminent national security threat. Islands are going underwater as we speak because of climate change. If that's not a national security threat, I don't know what is. Tillerson is not against TPP. He said he doesn't oppose the agreement, but that he has some concerns about it, like Donald Trump has. The concern here really is, number one, Tillerson's views on some of these issues are absolutely deranged, but also Tillerson doesn't agree with Donald Trump on some really major issues. Another one is nukes, for example. Trump said during the campaign, it wouldn't be bad if some additional countries had nukes. Tillerson said that he disagrees with Trump about that. So on the one hand, there's concern because of what Tillerson believes. We also have no idea what the policy of the Trump administration will be because Tillerson and Trump seem to disagree about so much. My last thought about this, and the most likely scenario is that Rex Tillerson will be our next Secretary of State. How sad will it be to go from John Kerry, a well-spoken, intelligent, knowledgeable Secretary of State, to basically an oil redneck who will do business with anybody that's willing to let him drill in their country?
Yeah, and how bizarre is it that we have a CEO of Exxon becoming the next Secretary of State?
It's
Usually
insane.
it's some politician or someone who is well respected within the diplomatic community.
Right.
Now we're moving on to an oil tycoon.
Absolutely shameful. Warby Parker is offering a free 5-day home try-on to give you the opportunity to check out their glasses. I personally wear Warby Parker glasses when I'm not wearing my contact lenses, and I also started with one of these free at-home try-ons of 5 pairs of glasses. You can get your free home try-on and support the David Pakman Show at warbyparkertrial.com/TDPS. I don't really like going into glasses stores and trying on glasses while the salesperson sort of hovers over me, and I like more than 30 seconds to actually figure out whether I like the glasses. So with the Warby Parker home try-on, I was able to pick 5 pairs that I liked, put them on in the comfort of my own home, pick the one I like the most, and then Warby Parker put my prescription lenses in there for me. A lot of people don't know that the eyeglass industry is controlled by just a few big corporations that keep prices very high, like $300 for prescription glasses high, which is just insane. Warby Parker glasses start at $95. That's what mine cost. And for every pair of glasses sold, Warby Parker distributes a pair of glasses to someone in need. You can try 5 pairs and see what you like. Check out the at-home trial and support our show by going to warbyparker.com/TDPS. It costs nothing.